Hello everybody. Where we left off, we have a single particle object that is going to fall with gravity when it gets created in the middle. There it is. It was very small. Let's change our size back to 40, and then you can see it a little bit larger. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to create a whole bunch of them that are going to make kind of a starburst. And hopefully we want it to look like a firework. And it'll take us a little while to get there, but let's go ahead and start. So right now we have a single particle object where we instantiate it here, and then in the draw loop, the setup happens once, and then in the draw loop, which runs continuously, we're going to clear the background, apply the force of gravity to the particle, have the particle update its own position and velocity, and then have it draw itself to the screen. So we want to be able to do those things with a whole bunch of particles that get created in the same spot, but with random velocities. So the first step is let's make an array list of particle, which I will call particles. Nope. Let's just call it particles. And that's what's going to hold all of our objects. Okay. We want to, in setup, actually create all the particles. So let's make a loop. And rather than having a fixed number here, I'm going to make a constant called numParticles. If you put your cursor on that uncreated variable and hit Alt-Enter, you can create the constant up here. And let's make there be maybe 500 of them. Okay, so now inside here, let's create a temporary variable, particle p, new particle, and let's create it in the same spot, 300, 10. And if we want to set the velocity, we just finished writing this overloaded setVelocity method. If you haven't written this yet, then you should go back and write it. But let's use this one to start with. So I know I'll need an x velocity and a y velocity, but I haven't made them yet. So let's go ahead and make them. If I want it to be random, I'm going to cast it as float, and I'll say math.random. Maybe let's do it between 3 and -3. So here if we imagine math.random is 0, then I'll have an x velocity of -3. If we imagine math.random is not quite 1, then this will be not quite 6. And so I'll have something that's not quite 6 minus 3. So that's going to be not quite 3. So what I've just said out loud is that this is going to be between -3 and 3. Let's do that same thing for the y velocity. Great. And then I'm missing one thing, which is I actually have to put the particle into my list. So let's do particles.add p. All right. Last, I need to do these 3 steps with all of the particles. So let's make a for each loop. This is a great chance to do that. So on the left here, I have the variable that's going to hold each particle in the list. And here I have my list of all the particles. Shouldn't have a semicolon. And then I'm going to paste what I just cut. And so now for this particle, I'm going to do those 3 steps. But this particle gets assigned every single particle in my whole list. Okay, let's see what it looks like. All right. They're so big, we can't even see them. So let's make them be like size 3 maybe, and let's try it again. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Clearly there's a lot that we would want to improve still. But let's keep going, and we'll come back and improve the aesthetics of it in a couple of videos.